Hi, I'm Kristen. Excuse the mess, I'm going through all my kids' clothes. Um, the first question, the thesis of my essay is gender roles and stereotypes, lack of political and economic power, gender nudity equality, and inequality in the workplace are still relevant today. Um, the purpose of my essay is to discuss the issues women still face in regards to their equality with men. The second question, the things I didn't do well in my essay is I use you a lot. And then, as you can tell, I use a lot when I do presentations. Um, the things I did well, I usually make things flow pretty well in my writing. The third question, the easiest part of the essay to write about was gender nudity equality. This has been something I've been passionate about for the last couple of years since becoming a mother. I breastfed both of my children, and I've breastfed them anywhere or everywhere, from a Tractor Supply to Red Robin while we were sitting. And I actually had my husband say once that he was embarrassed, and that kind of upset me as his wife, who is feeding his child. And the Free the Nipple movement has been gaining a lot of momentum the last few years, especially as stars have kind of jumped on board. And I had called in to the judge's quarters at the local magistrate's office. And when I had told them that I needed to speak to someone, the judge or I ended up talking to the ADA later, and told them that why I wanted to speak to the judge in regards to the laws about gender nudity equality and whether women, what the laws were in that specific county. I was told that if I wanted to be naked out in public, that I should go live on a nudist colony by the judge's secretary, which I think was very unprofessional and rude. Then she hung up on me. I ended up contacting the local police, and they got a hold of the DA's office and told me that while it's not technically illegal, if someone calls in and complains, they can ask a person or a woman to cover up, which is the same with men, but no one really calls in to complain about men being shirtless. The hardest part was making sure to add enough facts. I write off the top of my head a lot, because stuff I write about is usually things that I know a lot about or I try to know a lot about. So adding in facts and citations to back up what I'm saying is somewhat difficult for me. The fourth question, I think the opening is pretty powerful. Women for years have stayed in the shadows of their male counterparts or even male figures such as their fathers. We need a voice. And while it's becoming easier for women to speak out, I think that there are still a lot of issues with women feeling a little bit inferior and like their voice doesn't count as much as a man's does. I try not to add in stuff that doesn't matter, so I don't think there's any sentences that are technically least effective. I try and not use a lot of fillers. My process. I don't have a process. I'm very unorganized. I'm a procrastinator, as you can tell. I mean, this is 8 o'clock on Friday night, and I'm finally doing my video. I do this with everything. My final draft I wrote literally the day it was due. Or my first draft. I wrote my essay in one day. I'm really bad with that, but I feel like when I have time to do something, I put it off and it makes me nervous. And then at the last minute, even though I'm crunching for time, I get it done and I do a lot better than when I actually take my time. I seem to work better under pressure than when I have time to do things. The sixth question, I don't want the reader to particularly look for anything. It's an overall message that I want them to take away from the essay, and that's that women are still very inferior to men. Not that they should be, but the equality just is not there. The seventh question, last question. A lot of the material I've been reading about and already knew, so my feelings haven't changed. This is something I feel very passionate about, that I have been advocating for the last few years, like I said, and I really like the subject, so it was nice to write about. All right, thank you.